I'm Chad Reed, and this is Dealing with Past Relationship Based Trauma, today on Forge Mentality. Hi, everyone. My name is Chad Reed. I made this YouTube channel to help men and women with dating, mental health, and well being. I'm glad you're able to join me today. And if this video is helpful to you, hit the subscribe and the like button. And if someone in your life could use this advice, send them my way. On the topic at hand, past relationship trauma, this video is for both men and women because some of the advice given inside applies to both. You can heal from past trauma, but you need to learn from it at the same time. Women tend to gravitate towards the toxic bad boys, and I think that anymore, most people have something about them that is probably toxic. But in general, these dudes they go for are straight scumbags. Women who have been abused tend to go from that relationship into the next one, which is also an abusive relationship because it looks almost identical to the last one. But this isn't a woman's only type thing to suffer because men get abused just as often and likely more because you have to factor in that men get abused by other men too, and women don't typically go around abusing other women, but women do abuse men. For instance, my ex-wife was terribly abusive. She stabbed me. She clipped me with the mirror of a Ford Explorer, trying to run me over for talking to my nonna, it's grandma in Italian, on the phone when we would argue since she couldn't argue with me. She wasn't very good at it. So she would throw a tantrum and then she would throw away expensive perfumes like Chanel 9 and Lucky You. And she would throw away jewelry that I just got her. She would throw away flowers. And she even threw away 3 of my laptops. And I was only with this woman for a 6-year period of time. But I remember she would punch me a lot, actually. I remember one time I had to get up on the bed so this way I could stand up so she couldn't reach me. And she would try to punch me in the face. She punched my glasses and the lens cut my eye. And she cheated on me too. So all around, a swell person. But I knew from like the age of 12 that I always wanted to get married. And, being Italian, it's expected that you're married one time and it's for life and your vows are taken very seriously. And so I stayed and, I endured the abuse and, I just put up with it. And that's a thing that men have to do. You'll find that as a common theme is men just have to put up with the abuse because there is no recourse for men. But it took a friend that I met at a temp agency job actually to tell me that I needed to get out of that relationship or my little girls, because I had 2 little girls at the time, I have 3 now, would grow up seeing their dad get beat without retaliating, and they would think that's how you're supposed to treat men. The reason I'm telling you this very personal story so soon into my channel and really not even getting any to know you guys just yet is because I really don't mind. I want you to see that what I say to you comes from experience or tons of research, eyewitness accounts, things like that. And it's only coming from a place of love and concern for the well-being of the most people. So I want to use my experience and my failures or successes to help propel you to learn not what to do and maybe help make you more successful in your life. But the reason that typically men do it too, but typically women go from a toxic abusive relationship to a toxic abusive relationship is because you didn't give yourself time to properly heal and distance yourself from the situation after one relationship ended before the next one began. And if you didn't get into the next relationship that fast, you usually would go out and be promiscuous and things like that, but that isn't going to help your process to heal. That's actually going to hurt it and sabotage your effort to heal. Another reason is women tend to always go for the bad boy. And that's not covered in this video much. We'll cover that in a future video. But the bad boy isn't good for you. And he's not good for you. But we'll cover that in a future video due to time constraints. But if you go from one relationship where your partner made you feel worthless to the next relationship too fast, you're going to find somebody who makes you feel even more worthless. It might be subconscious. Maybe you start to feel, since you start to feel more worthless, it compounds. And so you feel that's the max that you deserve as a person. And that's not true. You don't deserve anybody who abuses you. After a while, you'll start to think that that type of relationship it must be normal since it keeps happening to you. This is a response due to trauma. And then if you don't sit back and distance yourself from it, realize what the process was to avoid for the next time, and you don't get over that past trauma, then you're bringing that trauma with you into your next relationship, where you perhaps unconsciously seek out that exact personality trait into the next partner, and it's a vicious cycle. Or maybe you do get with a nice person, but because of trauma from past relationships, you don't treat that person like they should be treated, and you know it. Instead, what I think you should do is when you leave that garbage relationship behind that has caused you trauma and undue grief, is you should stay single for a while. You reflect on how it made you feel, and then you're empowered with confidence that you do in fact deserve more than you received from that past relationship. And when you come to that realization, because you will, it just might take some time. It depends on how much trauma you suffered and how much you suffered in your life that you've left unresolved. Obviously, the more trauma that you've collected over time, the more you need to get rid of, and the longer it's going to take. But if you realize this process is happening sooner rather than later, there's less trauma for you to deal with, and therefore you'll be a happier overall person a lot faster than somebody who's not dealt with any of their trauma and decided to run from it. Because you can't run from your trauma. It follows you. It's taped to your back. It ain't going nowhere until you deal with it. So once you dealt with that trauma, you decided that you're worth more than you were treated for in the past. Now you won't look for the same type of person who messed you up mentally or sometimes even physically. When you distance yourself from that, the very next relationship as fast as possible mentality, I highly recommend not participating in casual hookups and flings. Nothing. Just you and healing, because that other stuff is not going to help you heal, and it's just an incorrect response to your trauma that will sabotage your healing and your next relationships, if you even get to have a next relationship, if that's what you want. The time away helps you learn what things to avoid and how you wish to be treated. We only get one life, and we don't get redos. Do you really want to spend your life in a cycle of abusive relationships, never actually finding a happy, fulfilling commitment? I know marriage is on the downturn extremely. I understand that. We'll get into that in future videos as well. But if you want a happy long-term relationship, you need to start getting rid of and unpacking these traumas. And you need to find somebody next who's going to help you throw those traumas out the window. You don't want to take them from your back and put them on their back, because that's not fair to do to them. In the next video, I'm going to recommend to you a place where you can actually find people that already exist, that you already know, that are out for you, that would love you and care for you and nurture you and do everything for you and be all about you. If that's what you really want, those people are already there in your life. And we'll cover it in the next video. So that will come out on Thursday due to work, and I have another channel, and I'm probably going to have a third channel. I like to try to cover a lot of topics, and none of them are all at all related. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. If you enjoyed this video, give me a subscribe. Take care of yourselves.